Finds Beckham. Beckham now to Owen, and here's another Owen run. He's going to worry them again. It's a great run by Michael Owen, and he might finish it off. Oh, it's a wonderful goal! What an amazing moment!
Ride on to the end.
I absolutely love that. I love that. I know exactly where I was. When that goal went in, I was in a chip shop, shocked at absolutely no one. Yeah, 1998.
And I thought you were sucking your thumb at that point. When was it?
I was 10. I was 10. Yeah, the queue was that big in the chip shop that the first half started, and we were watching the game in it. Hello.
It still remains and will always remain my favourite World Cup goal ever, just because it was just brilliant.
So, yeah, it was.
Yeah. Anyway.
Hello. And welcome to BCFC Fun Team TV. Do the World Cup, England versus Croatia. My name is Andrew, and as always, I am joined by Chris. The team's out, Chris, and we'll talk about the team. We'll talk about the World Cup itself and how we're feeling about it, because obviously the time differences have sort of affected it a little bit. But yeah, how are you feeling about the team?
Wouldn't be my starting 11. Konza, no. Gordon, no. Madueke, no. But I might be wrong. I might be pleasantly surprised. Who knows?
Okay. I'm going to take a different approach on that, because I don't dislike this team. I think Gehi is our best centre half. So for him not being in the team, you could kind of say, well, I think there must be a pattern emerging between Stones and Konsa that he just can't ignore at this point. But Croatia's team, their average age is about 104. So I think we've just gone for youth and pace here. Gordon and Madueke are a lot more direct on the wing than Rashford and Saka are. I don't think Saka's fully fit. Hopefully he'll progress into the tournament the way he's going. But I think, you know what, this team on paper, and we know that football isn't played on paper, should beat Croatia comfortably. I think 3-0, if I'm being honest. I'm going to go ambitious. But I just, on paper, we should win. We should win this game, and we should win it comfortably, just due to the fact that this is not the Croatia team that we've had battles with in 2018 and onwards into 2021 when we played them in the Euros and obviously the Nations League as well. It's not the same team. Well, it is, but they're just a lot older.
I've just realised I spelt Rashford wrong. Anyway,
I wasn't going to say.
I don't disagree with you on any of the points there. And on paper, yes, it is an 11 or a starting 11 that should be capable of beating an aging, a good Croatia team, but as you said, an aging team. What I think will happen, and I don't know whether this is just me, but I've heard it quite a lot in certain aspects of media and television and comments, and I just think that this performance is going to be the most important thing. It's going to be ripped to pieces. It's going to be scrutinised. It's going to be, can they lay down a marker? Because I mean, the group, they should be getting out the group without a sweat. But if you do lose tonight, or you get off with a poor performance and then maybe a draw, you know, I look at England and I look at the way they're built up and I look at the way that we play and everything else. It's a bit of a reset for me. I'm not gonna. It's pointless me saying get rid of the manager, because that ain't gonna happen. Is it? Like
no.
So that's what it is, right? Nothing's going to change. This is the way we're going to play. These are the players he's going to play. So forget that. Forget that. I think that other people should have been in the squad. Forget that. I think that other people should be in the team. These players have to perform. They have to. Even if they win 2-0 tonight, it still has to be a performance that warrants a 2-0 performance and a bit of a marker laid down.
Yeah.
I don't think that's unreasonable to expect from a team that is up there as one of the favourites. Now, we've already seen what has happened to Spain and the scrutiny that they're coming under now for A, the performance and B, the result. I think the message to the players from the manager would simply be, do you want that spotlight on you after game one? And if that's the long and short of it for me. It's got to be a really good performance.
I don't think there's been a team that has set this tournament on fire so far. You could kind of look at France's performance in the second half yesterday, but they still, for me, I think they still were getting. They were getting. Senegal were getting through them quite easily with someone like Nicholas Jackson, who isn't. We all know Nicholas Jackson on his day can be a decent footballer, but he's not a world beater by any stretch of the imagination. He's Bayern Munich's number 2 striker, but they were getting through really easy. If we stayed on side, it could have been a lot worse for France. Mbappe's last goal kind of papered over cracks for them. I think, I'm looking at, the predictions I've made for this World Cup. I said that Uruguay would be dark horses. They struggled against Saudi Arabia quite badly, if I'm being honest. Maybe that was down to Bielsa not having any warm-up games, and that because that was their first game, they came in. Portugal have just stunk up the joint against DR Congo. And gonna be honest, it was everything that I predicted. They were playing to Cristiano Ronaldo's strengths and not their strengths. Nuno Mendes, not the same player for Portugal that he is for PSG. He was hooked for Nelson Semedo, who didn't do anything at Wolves. So, and then there's Spain. And you talked about Spain a second ago. They had 51 touches in the Cape Verde 18-yard box. They scored fuck all. Now, I know that Carlos, who obviously comes onto this podcast quite frequently, is Spanish. He supports Spain. I have no issue with that at all. What I have issue with is that he had a bit of a meltdown during the game, because I might have poked the bear a little bit and said, "Oh, you're drawing 0-0 to a holiday destination." That didn't go down that well, as you can imagine. But look, it's a tournament that is growing in. It's growing on me. There's been a couple of games where I've sat and watched and I've gone, that was really good. South Korea versus the Czech Republic, or Czechia, as they like to be known now, for me, was fantastic. I thought South Korea were amazing. I got up at stupid o'clock in the morning for Pake Watch to do that. And actually, I was thinking, this better be a good game. And actually, it was. And there's been some good games. A lot of the good games, actually, have been between the teams who haven't been heavily fancied coming into it. New Zealand versus Iran was a end-to-end, 2-2 goal. There's been goals in this tournament. Messi banging a hat-trick last night.
Yeah, it is, but what you have to remember as well is with the expanded format. I mean, it borders on ridiculous, really, as well, that you're now 8 days into a tournament and 8 teams haven't even played a game yet.
Yeah,
it's crazy. I mean, the schedule, you can't. I forget what happened 2 days ago. Now there's just that many teams, and it's hard. I mean, I get what you're saying about getting into the tournament, but it's hard to get into a tournament when you're a week down and teams haven't even played yet. Like a few teams. So I think next round of games, by the time we get around to our second game, it's a different story. And going to your the point you made there about lesser teams without trying to find a better word for it, without trying to insult anyone, but this format now with so many teams and so many teams being able to get through to knockout rounds, they're identifying places where they can gain the points to do it. You know what I mean? It's not like World Cups gone by where you had your Saudi Arabias who would be stuck in a group with, I don't know, Germany, Turkey, and somebody else of like a way higher standard, and they've got no chance. Every team has got a chance because so that's good, but obviously it becomes quite long-winded.
I think, yeah, I agree with you. I think, you look at the Germany Curacao game. I don't think Curacao played actually that bad. Yes, they lost 7-1. You could look at the score, and Germany were clinical. You said that coming into this, unbelievably, they were the underdogs. I don't think they learned anything from beating Curacao. What I would say is that for an extended period of time, that again, I thought that Curacao played very well. I just thought that Germany were clinical, and that's what you need to be in the World Cup. I think having the 7 days, whilst the tournaments have been going on, England have been able to sort of learn, and the same with teams like Argentina playing yesterday, France playing yesterday, who are later into the tournament than, say, a Germany or Brazil, who were, again, Brazil. You come to the World Cup and you think Brazil instantly because they're 5-time winners. They've had talented teams in the past. They're just not the Brazil of old. And I think you learn about the other teams that are in this tournament. We have to go out and put a performance in today, because I think the level went up last night. The level went up. You look at France, okay, second half they were great. First half they weren't so great. And actually, I think Senegal, if they were more clinical, could and should have got at least a point out of that game yesterday. Argentina stepped it up, brushed aside Algeria, who aren't a bad team by any stretch of the imagination. And then you've got, even Austria. I woke up this morning at 6 a.m. to get up for work, and the game was still on. So, I watched it on. They looked like they were a formidable team, but you just don't know at this point. It's 7 days into the tournament. I'm enjoying it. Personally, I'm enjoying it. And I think that's the World Cup. I came into this World Cup without any sort of, it's coming home. It's, singing Vindaloo and also World in Motion, the John Barnes rap. I've got it down to a T. And maybe if we win the World Cup, guys, I will do the John Barnes rap.
Oh, not maybe. That's definitely, if you've got it down to a T, you can't hide it from the world.
Mate, you've got to hold and give and do it at the right time. I'll just...
You can't be dangling that kind of what's going to be better, lifting the World Cup or seeing Andrew do a John Barnes impersonation in World in Motion? I mean, really,
I think that
changes everything.
Good enough. Sorry, as you can imagine, guys, I ordered some food, and my dog is taking a lot of exception to the fact that somebody's knocked on my door. So I apologise for that. The food is now in, and he's fine. He's no longer barking. So John Barnes, I will do it. If England win the World Cup, I will do it, and I'll happily do it as well. I'll even get the backing track whilst we're getting it on, and I'll do the rap to World in Motion. But I think,
if I haven't said it before, your wife is a lucky lady.
Isn't she? What a guy that I'm now drinking a can of Relentless energy drink. I'm not doing this for a plug or anything like that. It's just that I've been staying up for the World Cup so much that I am literally half caffeine at the minute. Because and it's my own fault. It's a first world problem. Staying up and watching all these wonderful games, listening to the banging tune for ITV. ITV have got everything right, apart from Sam Matterface and Lee Dixon. And if anyone's out there that's watching this stream that likes Lee Dixon and Sam Matterface as a team, please put your comment up on there, and I'd like your justification, because there isn't any. I think even Roy Keane goes, oh, geez. Roy Keane would rather England win the World Cup than listen to them two anymore.
No, I wouldn't go that far.
Did you not hear what he said? They said, "Oh, how would you feel if England won the World Cup?" And he went, "I'd emigrate to Australia." I can see it. He'd be like, "No, I can't deal with this."
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's got much to worry about, but
No, do you know what? Right, I'm
probably why you said it.
and I've got my Des Walker t-shirt that on this camera looks orange. It's definitely not orange. It's definitely bright red. I just have a feeling that, you know, you said about Germany being a tournament team all those times, and they know how to get the job done. Tuchel has picked a team to do exactly that. I don't think this will be the team that, if we got to the final, this isn't the team that would start. Because there's players on the bench that would be going, I can slot in there, and there wouldn't be a difference to this team. Whereas previously, we've brought players off the bench who've had little to no impact. You could probably say Cole Palmer did in the last Euros, but the rest of them didn't. It was like, oh, we're still playing shite, and that's it. The fact that we got to a final last time and we played so badly shows there's a mentality in this group. I just think Tuchel's the man to get the tactics right. And I know you disagree with that, but that's just my opinion.
Well, yeah, I do, because I don't like his football, full stop. But that doesn't, that would have been the same for any of the teams that he had apparent success with. I know he won the Champions League once, but just because you manage big teams doesn't make you a successful manager.
I just
you know,
I like Tuchel. The fact that he's German doesn't bother me either. If he wins the World Cup with England,
I don't bother about that. No, nothing like that. But I'm not that kind of England fan that goes, it must be English. But the foreign managers that I've disliked them because they were shit, not because they were foreign.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it. It's when Sven first came in, he turned the team around in qualifying, because let's be honest, we were really bad under Keegan. But I think Sven was the architect of his own downfall, because he refused to balance. He lost Scholes, who, to be fair, was always decent for England when I watched him play. Capello, the less said about Capello, the better. I mean, what a joke. It led us to one of the worst before. I mean, South Africa. Everyone talks about 2006 being such a bad tournament, and that's probably because we've all watched the documentary, or most of us have watched the documentary on the 2006. 2010, we had the USA, Algeria, and Slovakia in our group, and we just got through, having beat Slovakia in the last game. We were woeful in that World Cup. When they bring on the Germans, that sort of thing, from all the tabloids, we'll beat them, we'll smash them. Germany, we always talk about the disallowed goal from Lampard, which may have changed the game at that point. It may have changed the game. But Germany tore us to pieces. Like, actually, and I've not seen England get torn to pieces since then. I don't think I've ever watched us and gone, when was the last time England, apart from the Senegal friendly, but nobody really cares about friendly, in a competitive game, when was the last time England got pumped? Like, got absolutely destroyed. I'll tell you when it was, 2010 against Germany, when they absolutely destroyed us. And that is the last time. We could talk about the 2014 World Cup, which was a disappointment, but we did have Italy and Uruguay in our group. Yes, okay, Costa Rica won the group. But we just didn't perform at the level. We played against teams who were of equal, if not better than us at the time.
But the failures just keep kind of blurred into one. Even sometimes you mentioned 12, 14, I'll go like, or 10, 14, I'm like, okay. But when it comes down to it, it's just a long list in another failure.
I know it's a failure. I mean, to be fair, we're like hardened England fans, aren't we? Because obviously I work in a school. For those who don't know, I work in a school, and all the kids are coming in. It's coming home, that sort of thing. And I was like, Andrew, you're wearing an England shirt, but you're a bit jaded. And I was like, look, I've suffered too much heartache with this team. So much so that the last Euros, I dislodged a part of my back that I had to have major back surgery on. So England for me is really a bit of a, I don't know. They're just, we support Birmingham City and we support, you know, I love England, and there was a question that was put out to me on the Boy in Blue podcast, which is fantastic, by the way. And it was, would you rather England win the World Cup or Blues win the FA Cup? Now, instantly, most of them went on there and went, Blues win the FA Cup, right? And I went, but I've only ever seen the Blues get to a quarter final. I've seen England get to a final. I've seen England get to 2 finals.
Yeah, that's the Euros. That's like the League Cup.
No, but it's not. I think the Euros is harder to win.
No.
I genuinely think the Euros is harder to win. There's because there's no, okay, expanding it to 32 teams probably made it.
So on that logic alone, the fact that we've got to 2 Euros finals and no World Cup finals in 60 years, that doesn't hold up to any.
No, but I think in between that, you look at our performances at the World Cup. We got to the semi-finals in Russia with a team that, let's be honest, was not good enough for a semi-final, and we threw it away against Croatia, as we usually do. Then the quarterfinals against France was a missed opportunity, in my opinion. I think that we were better than France in certain aspects, but then other aspects we weren't. You know, it was kind of an even match game. Harry Kane misses a penalty. You can't factor that in. Like, as much as Southgate irked me and he bugged me, and I wasn't his biggest fan, the proof's in the pudding that he got us through tournaments, and he did something that a lot of managers since Sir Alf Ramsey won the World Cup with us have failed to do, and that's unified the team. They were in the pool having a great time on those like inflatable flamingos, and loads of people are like, what are they doing? This is the England team. And I'm like, they're just being mates. Like, they're just having a bit of a laugh. You know, in tournament football, you don't want your team to implode. And let's be honest, it's often the French, admittedly, but there is going to be a team that is going to implode at this World Cup. And I don't see it being us for once.
Okay.
And I think on that lovely note,
time to get into game mode.
We will be back at 11 o'clock this evening for live match reaction. The game might still be going on at that point.
Yeah, well, obviously, we won't go on while the game's still on. So if it ticks over with the second the final whistle goes, we'll hit the button and go. So it's 11 o'clock, providing the game finishes before 11. It could be a couple of minutes past, but obviously we don't want to hang around too much. We know people have got work to go to and everything else. So we'll get in, get out, talk about it, cry, celebrate. Who knows?
Yeah, that's the beauty of a live reaction, isn't it? We don't know what's coming up. But what we do know is coming up is Pake Watch Part 2. Which I thought, like I said on my news on the news channel, I thought it was going to be this wonderful thing where I sat and watched along and had a bit of a laugh, but it sort of descended into a man who was really, really upset that he got up at stupid o'clock in the morning, and I literally went on the stream at 2:59 as the game kicked off at 3 a.m. Next one's at 2 a.m. So please check that out. Hopefully the next one will be as good as Pake's performance in the last one, which was a 9 out of 10 in my humble opinion. And also Stephen Carr is on his way. Again, our people are talking to his people. And by that, I mean, somebody's talking to him in Spain somewhere. And hopefully we'll have a few dates. So any questions, please put them in the comments for Stephen Carr. And we'll pick out the best ones to put to him. But let's go England. It's coming home, and keep right on.
See you in a bit.
Keep right on to the end.